then. Okay, introducing back on my show now. It's been a while. Listeners to my show and the late night show and my other programs may know that I've spoken to the Murmurs of Earth, and none other than Murmurs of Earth. You have Richard Sinclair. He's joining me back after all these years. How are you today, Richard? Nice to have your company with me today.
Yeah, you too, Danny. Yeah, really well. Nice to catch up with you. Yeah.
There's probably so much to talk about, but we'll just kind of like touch, here and there on, what you've been up to. So first up, where are you? Are you situated back in UK at the moment?
Yeah, I am interested. Yeah, a couple of years back, I have moved to a very remote place on the side of a mountain in South Wales.
Oh,
Lovely, beautiful. You don't move to Wales for the weather, but but it's actually stunning. Very much enjoying it here, and it's very good for my creative spirit. So very positive.
brilliant. It seems nice just talking about it. Great. And Murmurs of Earth, or do any of your listeners ever call you Mum at all? The acronym Murmurs of Earth.
Oh,
Oh, sorry,
absolutely.
MOE.
No, not at all, actually. Yeah, no, and don't start putting that into their heads, mate. But yeah.
No worries. We'll leave that as it be. So, Murmurs of Earth, would you just like to tell me and my listeners just a little bit about, yourself and, your projects?
Sure, no, absolutely. Yeah, well, Murmurs of Earth has been going pretty much since 2015. Now, bringing out a number of singles, doing pretty well, to be fair. Last year was more of a preparatory year. I think we brought out two singles last year, which did reasonably well, which was nice. Got quite a lot of streaming, particularly in mainland Europe. You seem to
Yeah,
like their electronic pop
they
stuff,
do.
which was really nice. And. To be fair, started this year with a good sense of enthusiasm for the year ahead. Got a new single coming out probably next month. Not quite in the can yet, but that's gone well. More, a little bit more poppy and guitar driven, which is good. And I suspect in about the end of March, if all goes well, got a solo album of music coming out as well, actually. So the move to South Wales has been say very good creatively for me, and lots of stuff coming up in the next few months, which is
Great. Well, we look
delightful.
forward to that. And you say last year, I guess last year was a strange one, really, because a lot of people use that year as a gateway to, get out there for this year, as you say,
Yeah.
preparation.
No, very much, and to be fair, like many other independent musicians, I had a day job, to keep me going, but quite often took up all of the time and creative spirit. But I'm free from that now. I stopped that job in October. I'm fully involved in the creative arts now, so so feeling very positive about 2025.
That's good. Sometimes you just need to take the plunge, roll the dice, That's what business is about,
Yeah,
taking a little bit of
spot
a
on,
risk.
spot on. And yeah, no, absolutely spot on. And it felt the right time to do it. And I'm feeling very, very positive about it. So
That's good.
it's good.
And
That's
I
good.
understand that you've always been a musician. You've had like, you were in bands in the 80s as well.
That ages me tremendously. But yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I was in bands all through the 80s and 90s. Had a nice little local following in London, but never broke through, and then
Mm.
had to get proper jobs as it were to pay the bills from there. But yeah, mu music's never left me, and I'm delighted to be back. Writing and performing music again. Yeah,
It's good to
it's
have it
good.
in your bones.
Yeah, no, no. Well, yeah, I don't think it's a choice. If
That's it.
if it's there, you need to give it some freedom, or it'll drive you mad.
Yeah. I don't think there's no other option, is there?
No, no, not at all, not at all.
Right. And
Yeah,
you
I
you
think Sorry,
mentioned
mate.
like Europe as well. They love their electronica music. I describe your music as modern day electronica. Is that the sounds that you're trying to let the audience capture?
Well, to be fair, people tell me I've never really left the 80s, but I am comfortable with that. I think there's a positive, retro feel
Mm.
to the music that we write and perform. Very new wave, electro pop, still very much influenced by the bands I was listening to as a young man in the 80s. But
Mm.
very comfortable with that. And I found a good number of fellow musicians and artists who are very much into the same thing. I'm Oh, I'm always fascinated when particularly when I look at things like, my Spotify numbers about the outreach and the number of countries that listen to my music is excellent. It's good. So
That's great.
there is still very much a market for the 80s, I think.
Do you have a favorite synthesizer? I used to own a Roland Juno G. The only thing was it was so complex to program it and work it. But how about you? What's your favorite synth?
Yeah, I was always a bit of a Roland man, back in the day. To be fair, I've got a number of Yamaha synths I use at the moment. Yeah, and to be fair, I use a blend of hardware and software. I use quite a lot online as well, actually. So yeah, yeah. But I'm starting to fill up with more hardware synths at the moment. Actually, both Rolands and Yamahas particularly. Yeah.
And when you create music, is there quite a lot of software suites back in the sorry now? Like back in the day, it was all Cubase, wasn't it?
But I've always been a Cubase fan, if I'm honest. I have just moved over to Logic, and I am finding it a bit of a learning curve, but a fascinating one. And it's really driving a different way of songwriting for me. It's good. Yeah, again, it's really helping to fuel my creativity, I think.
Great, nice to talk about the process of music sometimes. Don't get a chance to do that. But on to some of your records now. One of your most recent tracks that you released was "The Man I Never Knew," and when I listened to it and looked on the visualizer for it, it kind of had a certain Daniel Craig element to it.
Oh, that's very interesting, and that's quite a personal song, actually. That's a song about my father, who I never knew. Actually. Yeah, I say the last couple of tracks that I brought out last year. Yeah, I've used little AI driven canvas videos for that and things. And they do seem to be quite popular actually. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, I'm enjoying it.
interesting.
Yeah, and that's another part, I think, of the creative process, trying to come up with visuals to go with the tracks.
Great. So I know you got some new material on the way soon. So we can talk about some of your more modern releases. Wanted to touch on the fragments of the Stolen Light. What was the recording process like putting that together? You know, the length of time it took to recording it and who you worked
Yeah,
with on that one.
I'm very fond of that album. Actually, that everything came together. That album sounds exactly like we wanted it to. To be fair, that was nice. I say, some of the songs on there took me best part of 10 years to finish, if I'm
Mm.
honest. But the whole album itself came together in about 18 months. Working very much with a chap called Jeff Pickney, who does the vocals and production on that. Yeah, he's been in a number of synth bands over the years. Jeff is fascinating to work with. We've got a real musical shorthand, just understanding the tracks and influences that we use together. Yeah, and then all through that album, Jeff and I never met once. We did the whole thing remote.
Oh,
Sending files over and and working and producing it. It was a completely different modern way of working. To be fair, and because we live quite far from each other. So it's a real different dynamic than I've been used to, where you actually get together,
mm.
with other musicians in a room and kind of jam or work things out. Yeah, we were doing it all virtually. It's fascinating, but really pleased with the results we came up with there.
Because I know you mentioned Jeff in other interviews, and he's part of Murmurs of Earth as well, isn't
Yes.
he?
Yes. No, absolutely. It's very much the two of us. I write the basis of the song, the music and the lyrics, and then send them over to Jeff, and we kind of, ping stuff back and forth and evolve the tracks from there. But yeah, very pleased. Yeah, the material we're bringing out probably next month for Murmurs of Earth is still Jeff and I.
Okay,
Yeah.
great stuff. All
Yeah,
right then,
yeah.
another track.
Sorry, I was saying, even and even with the solo album that I'm bringing out, in a couple of months, I have asked Jeff to master and produce it as well to give it that final polish. Sorry,
Nice.
Danny, I
Just, yeah,
didn't
no
to
worries.
interrupt.
You know, that's fine. Just wanted to talk about a few other tracks. The Traveling Man, I listen to as well. I like that one because I can relate to that. I'm always out and about myself. I can't keep still. And
Yeah,
last track on the album is called Higher If. Higher If?
yeah.
Could that be a
Here,
song about Here If? Yes,
yeah.
thank you. Could that be a song about having a deep yearning for something, especially one's home? Has got kind of like a Welsh. Meaning.
It is, yeah, it is absolutely. It is. It's a Welsh word, which does kind of, translate as, a longing to be home, or your homeland, And I am half Welsh anyway, so this is a kind of, return to to Wales for my wife and I. Yeah, and that song is was very much influenced by by the scenery and being back here and this feeling of home as soon as we moved back to Wales.
Nice. And the Traveling Man and um oh the Hireth. Um I noticed your
Perfect.
observation.
I think
Sorry if my pronunciation's not
that's great.
spot on
Good.
there. With that, those two tracks are on one observation has no vocals on, and I thought those tracks could be good for cinematic soundtracks. Do you ever get approached for that at all?
No, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, but I enjoy writing instrumental music as well as songs with with lyrics and vocals. You'll always find some instrumental tracks on my albums. The new album, as I say, I'm putting together at the moment is completely instrumental. Uh, yeah, there have been some discussions about about sync placement and and music writing for pieces. I have written some music for games, and other elements, but yeah, it's a tough industry to break into,
Hmm.
but very interested to do so. Yeah, I say I actually find writing instrumental music a lot easier than writing standard pop songs. Yeah, hence hence the new album that's coming together.
Because I know some like composers like yourself, like they write the lyrics first, then the music, vice versa. There's no set formula really, is it? There at the end of the day.
No, not at all. No, not at all. When I write lyrics, I've normally got a melody in my head. But when I just sit down and play with with the synthesizers and the piano and other things, it's quite easy for a tune to emerge on its own, And if I think the song tells you whether it needs lyrics or whether it's best as an instrumental.
And what's the feeling like when you hear your song being played back on the radio, like my show, or more to the point when someone tells you they've listened to your track or music on playlists as well? You suddenly just come
It's
up
a
on a playlist.
it's a delight, mate. And as always, it's songwriting, as you probably know, it's a very personal thing. And when someone else takes the time to listen to your music and appreciates it, and when you hear that back, particularly if it strikes a chord with people, it's a delight. You know, yeah, that's entirely what any musician and artist wants to hear. That is brought some joy and entertainment to other people.
That's the target, isn't it? To aim
Of
for.
course it is. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm so I think we predominantly write these songs for ourselves because we need to. Yeah, if it finds an audience, particularly if it chimes, that's just a pleasure and a delight.
Mm. And I never asked this question before, but have you had a chance to do like any shows the last couple of years? I know you said Jeff's more kind of like studio based.
I
Um,
keep being asked. That's really I keep being asked, and I keep toying with the idea. I very nearly put on some shows last year, but interestingly, in the end, I organised some gigs for other artists, which I kind of set up and ran. I started to put a band together last year, but it was a lot of hard work, to be
mm,
fair. And to get people again, with day jobs and other commitments to meet regularly and things, it just didn't come off in the end. But yeah, I'm always tempted, always tempted by live work, and I'm trying to work out how if it would be an entertaining enough show, just me on my own. Yeah, to be fair, because I would want to put a decent show on for anyone who turns up.
yeah, sure. And
Never say never. Never say never.
what's best for you? Where do you like vinyl, cassettes, or CDs, or up-to-date downloads like streaming?
I listen to most of my stuff through streaming, but I've still got an affection for vinyl. Always had,
Mm,
I've never got rid of my vinyl collection. It is still sitting downstairs. I've still got a record player that we use regularly. Yeah, I think there's a warmth to vinyl that's
yeah.
never been replaced by digital, to be
Yeah.
fair.
It's good to see a resurgence in vinyl. Don't you think that it's a bit pricey when you go into some shops, or do you think that they have to make their costs at the end of the day?
I think yeah, I'm delighted vinyl is still going. Because I think holding something physically, holding a physical product just connects you to it in some way, I
Hmm.
think. But yeah, some of the prices can be ridiculous, I think.
Yeah,
But
they
yeah.
can. Oh, that's where, like, when you collect vinyl, you think, oh yeah, I'm glad I hold on to that. I didn't clear it out the loft and give it to, like, the charity shop, however good cause that is. Sometimes it's good to
Yeah,
hold on things.
I'm surprised that I use my vinyl collection as often as I do now. They sat with a layer of dust on for years, but yeah, as I say, I'm really pleased I held on to them.
And
Yeah,
having said that, I know vinyl's expensive, but the vinyl players, they're quite affordable.
yeah, they are. They are. That's I'm very I've been very tempted over the last couple of years to actually get some vinyl versions of my music. The Fragments of Soul and Light by Murmurs of Earth and things. So I think
Mm,
it'd be lovely to have a physical copy of that.
yeah. I,
Yeah, I'm always a bit cautious that I'll just be consciously giving them out as Christmas presents to people.
yeah, I know what you mean. I know I interviewed some gentleman. He wasn't bothered about whether he made a profit from the vinyl, but he always wanted to release a vinyl, and he self-funded it himself.
Yeah,
And he says, yeah, that's one thing ticked off, my bucket list. I always wanted to do.
yeah, and I agree. Yeah, no, I'm
Mm,
completely right. Yeah, and of course, because I chat to other musicians and artists and things, I'm surprised by the resurgence of people bringing stuff out on cassette again at the
yeah,
moment.
yeah,
Fascinating.
yeah.
I haven't got a cassette player, but it's interesting. Yeah, and people seem to be buying them. It's
Yeah.
great.
And
Yeah.
as I was going to add as well, since you mentioned like the 80s and you inspired, and your name's Richard Sinclair, that's made a comeback as well, the Sinclair Spectrum.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, I think I think there's a positive place in people's heart for retro things.
Yeah. At the end of the day, nostalgia sells. One more thing,
Yeah,
do you have an
yeah.
official website where people can visit, just to, keep up to date with everything you do?
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Thank you for asking. I have just set up a new website, Danny. That's perfect. So it's www.sinclaironair.com.
Brilliant.
And that's got threads about the music and all sorts of other things, and other live concerts that I set up, not necessarily my music, but ones for other artists as well. So yeah, if anyone would like to view that, please do.
Great. Well,
Beautiful,
thanks very much for your time today. It's nice to always have a catch up with my previous guest for an updated interview. And we'll look forward to your new music very soon.
beautiful, lovely to see you, Dane. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah,
You
lovely
be the same.
chatting with you.